Cinema Corner. I'm Alex. This is Josh, and today we're talking about Avatar: Fire and Ash. Quick little thing about Fire and Ash. As of this recording, it's at $1.1 billion. Today is the 7th of January. It's been out for just under, 2 weeks? No, 3 weeks. 3 weeks, yeah. So that's kind of crazy. It had a rough start, though. For some reason, everyone was saying it's going to be a flop. I think you knew it. I definitely knew it. There was no way that this wasn't going to hit a billion at least. But it did. And as well as the Rotten Tomato scores, just for context, it's at 90 audience score. So it's a little more divisive than the last two. The last two were definitely more aligned, but this one, for some reason, critics didn't like it as much. What do you think about that?
I think that's kind of funny to me that they didn't like it as much. I think the reason being, just right off the bat, I'll just say I like this one so much more than the last one. I felt like this should have been the sequel we got in the first place. It just felt like it was actually expanding upon the already existing characters. I felt like we actually got some development for the first time in a while for at least the main cast besides the kids and the new introduction of the different clans. But I think maybe the reason being that the critics didn't like this one as much as the previous two is it did not focus on the cinematic shots, I should say, as hard in this one. This one was purely driven on I'm making a third film and was way more focused on the action side of things, and driving that there is a new kind of clan that isn't supportive of the way of the world that we've been introduced, because it's kind of all been really all is one, and here we have a clan that doesn't believe in that shit. So who knows? I don't know why I didn't like, but the audience score being 90 is a little wild to me. This does have a cult following. It made $1 billion. People were down in it, and it easily still made $1 billion. Maybe it got a little help by the fact that Disney's throwing in the Doomsday trailers for it to really get people to show up. But I don't really know who's going to Avatar just for a Doomsday trailer. I don't really think that's true.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's even just to put in perspective, The Way of Water was 76%, so that's a 10% increase from the critics, and it's at 92 for audience, so it's only 2% higher than Fire and Ash.
Okay.
So, still, and that one I think ended up being like the fourth or third most highest grossing movie of all time. But it's Avatar: Fire and Ash. For me personally, this might be my favorite one. Low key, it might be my favorite one.
It's not a crazy take.
Currently, 100%. This is better than Way of Water. Clear to me, 2 is 3 in this ranking. The one that I'm fighting with right now is 1, and I think that's just because I haven't seen it in a while. It's kind of one of those things where I watch it maybe once every 5 years, maybe, if that. Mm-hmm. So I think I would have to rewatch it to actually give you a good ranking, especially a more recent ranking. But I don't know what it is, man. I think we know what it is. It's the Ash people being introduced in this movie. It just gives you a different element. You get some new banter between him, between Quaritch, and obviously the leader of the Ash people, Varang. And bro, it was spicy as hell. I fucked with it. I don't know, man. It was really good.
Yeah, even just the kind of there's this. I think what I liked about it was what I struggled with the last movie was kind of giving a shit about any non-main cast. While in this one, the whales plot point I definitely enjoyed. I think it was kind of cool even seeing the console of these fucking just massive whales just deciding being peaceful and then finally realizing that no, man, they
Right
need to
back.
change their way of life because this is not of their world what's basically threatening them. All right. And I'd also like the plot point of basically just everyone kind of have been forced to deal with all this shit. Um, Especially also the conundrum with Spider. Spider, I will say, he continues to be the worst character. I can't tell if it is the actor or just the writing. It could be both, because there was a lot of bros in this in this movie that made it a little hard with the younger characters.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed Jake and them being like deciding, do we kill this guy because he is human? And that is even coming from Jake, who was a human, still is, and deciding, do we or do we not? Is this who we are? Are we going to go there? Because
Mhm.
this is war. And I think that's what this movie felt like. We finally felt like it was an actual war for survival, compared to the last one. And that's why I feel like the OG one definitely did a good job too, even though it's been a while. But I was seeing plenty of clips on TikTok reminding me of that movie. And I think this is what the last one missed, was the element of fact that, hey, these humans are not from here. It is a big deal that they are fucking with us. And it just, I don't, I think I felt something in this one. That's what you say it.
Yeah, yeah, because like I definitely agree on Way of Water. It felt like they were almost like secluded, and I guess that kind of was the point because they were like fleeing their main home. I think it was like the tree, and they went with like the water people. But I don't know. It kind of just like made it almost feel like two stories being told at the same time when you get like just Jake and his family with the water people, and then we'd like flash to like the humans for a few minutes, and then that was it. And then like we didn't really even get any sort of like I don't know conflict until the very very end, and even that it felt like it like
Very
rushed.
end.
Yeah, at the very very end because it was like the battle on the ships, and you get like the one whale fighting them, and then I'm trying to remember. I think it was just Jake and his family towards the end because I think most of the water people
Mm-hmm.
kind of just fled. Uh, and yeah, and
Which was definitely a big plot hole in the end of that last one, of just how everybody disappears and it becomes a little way too focused on the Sully family at the end.
yeah,
I
again,
don't really get that with this one.
that's another problem with it. But again, that was Way of Water. Fire and Ash does not do that. Fire and Ash definitely
Nope.
you get moments with each character. You get Jake moments. You get uh Loak. That's his son, like the one remaining son left. Um, and then you get Neytiri in this movie.
She is
She's
so good
pissed
in
off.
this.
She is pissed off
Yes.
the entire movie until the very end when she realizes like okay, like she sees like the paint that was cool. I fucked with that because she had to like put that makeup of the Ash people to blend in to go into like the main base, and then they flee. We talked about it. They're like having that debate. I was like, do we? Because like the humans are not going to stop. There's a human here that can take off that mask and breathe like we do. They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
want to research them. They're gonna want to replicate it. It's like we can either cut it off now or risk them, continuing to fight them for him so that they can get that research. And then it's not until she like takes off the paint and she sees and it's like that symbolism of like the red paint on her hands. It's like the blood on her hands, even though she's not the one killing him. And then she finally snaps out of it and she like tells him not to, even though Jake didn't. And that camera cut was that was some bullshit there, James. But whatever, let it slide. But yeah, no, it was just there was a lot more action. Like I would say the visuals even take a slight jump forward, even from Way of Water somehow, some way. The water effects, the fire effects too. Um, but I mean, I don't know. It's like, oh, Quaritch. Quaritch in this movie just takes a step further than even like the last two times that we see him. I feel like this is where we get like the full character Quaritch, like the full, I don't know, kind of like he was giving Jake shit because he was like, "Oh, you're a traitor to our kind," and then he like dies. He comes back as an avatar, so he's forced to be here. And then this entire movie, Jake's like, "Listen, dude, it's like you're still thinking like a human. Like you're no longer that. And that person died. It's like you have new eyes. You can see through these new eyes." And then it's like slowly, even though he doesn't want to, he starts to kind of do exactly what Jake did. Obviously, not for good reasons. It's all for bad reasons. That scene still sticks in my mind where he goes with just his like bag. And he's like, "You're not here to kill anybody," and he's like, "Drop him," and he's just instantly drops him. Like, okay, all right, okay,
That's so good.
all right.
And then she just spots the sniper immediately and just stares him down, even gives him a little last look before he goes in the tent. Oh, dude, that was just a nice, just who's coming out of this one on top, man. And then they fully join forces. Oh, it just worked. It worked.
Listen, I think that was the best thing that James could do for this trilogy with borderline save it, because I like Blake. Honestly, I was kind of checked out after Way of Water. Like, it was visually like okay, but the story wasn't anything special. And like you, I was like, listen, it's an Avatar movie. I feel like it's kind of like an event that I have to go to just to experience it. And I walked out pleasantly surprised. I was almost locked back in again. I was like, okay, well, this is kind of what maybe people my age back in 2009 felt like. Oh, okay, this shit is something different. And I mean, you see it now. This is the third movie in a franchise that only started in 2009, and it's the third one to cross 1 billion.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to hit 2 billion, but I mean, still, the fact that every single film has crossed 1 billion has to tell you something.
Yeah, and I think what also is a nice thing about this one is, unlike Way of Water, this one, if it did just end here, I think I'm still satisfied with that. That's okay. If we don't get another one, that's okay. But if we do, you got my ticket because of this one. So it was just a huge win for the franchise, and I think James Cameron for sure, because I don't know how you got this movie out so fast, and not at any point did the plot, did the characters, did the visuals at all feel rushed. It all felt like it was deserving of the Avatar title, and then you somehow did better on your third one after, like we keep saying, the last one we did not care for. Yeah, it was nice, and I love the fact that I kind of feel this way. Some movies where I get a little let down, but what comes after it kind of makes them a little better. And I go back to the Marvel franchise when it comes to Ultron. I feel like everything that's come out after Ultron makes Ultron better, Age of Ultron. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with Way of the Water, because you actually feel the effects of the characters' deaths from that film into this one of an actual mourning family. It was great. And Jake also felt like he was back to being a main character. It didn't feel like he was just there to just simply have beef with his former just human bro. And I even loved his development of being like, hey man, Quaritch, you are not a human anymore. You are a clone in an avatar's body that was made. So like, you're not human, I mean, bro. You don't got to be loyal. And you can see just the subtle changes throughout. And my favorite scene is when he shows up and he's like, "You guys didn't inform me of everything." And he just fully has the paint job going. He has all the human gear off. He's a changed man, bro. He's wiped up.
I was like,
that was
that's
so
crazy,
fucking
bro.
funny.
Changed him. She said, "I can change him. I can change him." That was crazy. Yeah, I know it was great, and there was like some comedic moments that hit actually, like you said that, and I mean I think a lot of them had to be Quaritch too, because he was just, I don't know, I found myself liking Quaritch more than I did in Way of Water for sure, and then in the first one it was more of like, okay, clearly this is the antagonist and then this is the protagonist, whereas this one they definitely feel more fleshed out, and Quaritch especially, here there was more dimension to him. I mean, even at the beginning when they get captured by the Ash people, he's like, he realizes, okay, well, I have to work with him, and you even see his like his buddy there. He's like, dude, you're gonna get us killed because it's like we just caught him, we can just leave, but he's like, nah, I need to get Spider, and then he's like, you slowly see him try to like trust Jake, even though his mission is to bring him in. But I think like even at that point, he's just using bringing Jake in as an excuse to get his son. I feel like this entire time. I think that's what he really cares about. And and with Way of Water, it definitely felt more as like, okay, yeah, I'm just trying to just finish the mission from the first one, and then you throw in Spider kind of in the middle of the movie there, and then you kind of get that like incoherentness of this like, okay, do I care about the kid or not, or it's like a will they won't they kind of thing. It's like I kind of just don't really care about that. But like you said, with this movie, I feel like maybe it maybe increases the rewatchability of Way of Water, and it makes it better. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to go back and rewatch both of those, the first one and second one, to kind of give you a clear answer. But um, I mean, is it crazy to say that? I feel like James kind of like saved the franchise in a way. I mean, yes, they're all a billion, but
So
like, and I'm sure people would have gone to see like another one, even if this one continued that Way of Water trajectory. But I don't know. I feel like you maybe gained more fans, especially with the Ash people. I mean, if you're introducing these like different clans, because that's another thing too. We only got the water people in that movie, and then in this movie, we obviously get like the classic forest like Navi when they go back. Then we get the Wind Traders, which is also cool, and we get the Ash
yep.
people, and I'm just like, okay, see, now this is what I feel like Way of Water after waiting, I don't know what it was, like 10 fucking years for the sequel. This is what we didn't get. Like we didn't get any world building. We didn't get anything. We were just kind of like isolated. Like I said, it was just the water people, and that was it. And I felt like Way of Water, it was like, oh yeah, we're just almost like basking in the glory of what we like did here with the water effects, and it felt very like we're gonna hold this shot for so long because look, it's Navi people and this clear water. It looks pretty, doesn't it? Whereas in this one, I feel like okay, yeah, we know we did some good shit in the last one with like the visuals, but now we're gonna focus in on the actual story, and they didn't really like, I don't know, bask in their glory of look at this special effects that looks like $1 billion right on screen. Like, okay, you actually cared about the story this time, and I think that's what I appreciated from this movie this time around.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely use their cinematic shots to continue the telling of the story. I mean, we just even pointed out when he tells him to drop the guy, and just seeing that zoom in scope shot onto Farang just staring him straight there. I mean, that right there was a beautiful shot that also tells a story that she is still the alpha in this situation. Who gives a fuck if you just drop my guy? I'm taking your man into my tent, and then even just him kind of getting drugged in that scene was kind of funny, but was visually cool as hell. And then the Wind Traders, they kind of did a quick short shot of looking at that cool caravan flying, and then that's when we get introduced to the Ash people invading. Them flying over the mountains was cool as hell. And so I think that James Cameron did such a better job balancing. It almost felt like he got his confidence back. On Way of Water, he had the pressure of it being so long. Well, on this one, he's like, even in his interviews, he's like, if it bombs, it bombs. But if people like it, they like it. It felt like he was more passionate on this film than the last one. The pressure was clearly off of him for whatever reason it was, and it was quite enjoyable. And I'm not surprised it made $1 billion, and it still kept making money because the fan base was back, dude. I saw so many more edits and social media posts this time around than I did of Way of Water. And then even also people going back to the OG Avatar more because of this film than the last one. I know this video is not supposed to be a trashing of Way of Water, but it's really important to make that comparison of it. This one felt like that almost cultural impact that we were expecting the whole time, and we got it. And it was out of nowhere almost.
Yeah, no, and I definitely agree. I definitely Way Water felt like it was like, okay, we're coming back with the sequel here 10 years later, and I have to like produce this thing and make it, a worthy sequel. Whereas this one, I felt like he was just kind of like, let's just make some cool shit. Like
Yeah,
let's just do that, and that's exactly what he did. And I can say this: I feel like overall, I enjoyed most of the like side characters way more than I have ever before. Really, I feel like in the last ones too, they just kind of felt like classic side characters. Like, okay, cool, yeah, you're there. You're gonna say a line here and there, and that's it. Whereas in this one, I actually, like you said, I cared about him more. Like the whales, I cared about. I felt bad because I was like, oh shit, and like he's like, look at this guy. He's like, his whole eye is gone. I was like, okay. See, like this is actually kind of tugging at the heartstrings a bit. It's like, okay, well, you're actually cooking something. Whereas before they felt very undercooked, just classic side characters. They're just there to stay aligned, do something somewhat cool, or die, or just be there to fill the screen. Whereas in this one, they actually felt like fleshed out characters, and yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot more than I have for
yeah, they
a
had
while.
actual depth. It didn't follow the line of like one of my issues is kind of with movies is they just assume you're supposed to feel bad if it's any like nature or creature kind of getting attacked without adding any depth to it. And if it's not an actual creature of our own real world, you're not going to have any attachment to this creature besides just normal morals. You realize you are watching a movie, and in this one they added depth to why you should care about the whales, even more about the greed of them taking them down, and seeing how it pushes this peaceful kind of tribe of animals and creatures, instead of kind of getting the effect of Return of the Jedi, and just who cares about that nature like that. So
Yeah.
um yeah, so anything else you want to say before we probably dive into what you rated?
Oh, what one last thing, just to kind of answer something that you said about Spider as the character. What I learned actually, I learned that originally when they filmed this, they filmed it so that they filmed both of them there, but they only used him as reference for like the Navi character actors to kind of have reference of where he's at. However, he
Hmm.
then had to go back and film separately without anyone
Yeah, I did see
there,
that.
and he's actually older, so he's filming against nothing. So I'm just like, okay, that could also go into it because like when you're just there and you're looking at nothing like a blue screen, I feel like that mixed with maybe the writing. I don't want to put it on just like the actor himself because I think he was in Scream, the last Scream movie, and I mean he seems like at least a decent actor. Not like anything special, but he's not bad by any means. Whereas in this one, it's like okay, yeah, there definitely seems where I'm like, hey, yeah, this is kind of rough, but maybe that's kind of what went on there. Just because technicality, can't film there. He's younger, so we have to refilm scenes again. He's filming as nothing. I feel like maybe that's kind of what is to blame, but I don't know. I'm not really gonna give him shit for this movie, especially because I don't know, it's just a lot more watchable than Water at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of ratings, listen, this this was an 8 for me. This was an 8. It's not like
Wow.
super high,
Okay.
but I enjoyed it. And for being what 3 hours and 13 minutes or whatever it was, it didn't feel that long. I mean, it definitely felt long just because my ass was hurting towards the end, but um, but I wasn't like being like, okay, let's wrap this up. This is taking too long. I felt invested throughout pretty much the entire movie. So yeah, that's worthy of an 8 for me.
Yeah, hey, I don't really give a lot of high ratings, so let's keep that in mind when I give this. This is a strong 6.5 for me. I think it was enjoyable. I think no matter what, this is a Avatar film I can rewatch. If it's on the TV, I'm watching it. That's the best thing you can say about Avatar films is they'll grab your attention, and this one will keep your attention for it being such a longer movie. The only things I just could not get past is, and I'm hoping if he does do the next one, what I'm liking is that it is going to be a kind of, there's going to be a forward in time, and these people are going to grow up because he just cannot do younger people dialogue, and so we'll get more adults, and I'm hoping that will help with the writing. That just seems to be James Cameron's weak point there. That's the only bad thing you could truly say about this film. It's just the young people's dialogues, and otherwise, that's a strong 6.5. It really is.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, if you guys have any thoughts on Avatar Fire and Ash, leave it down below in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.